Welcome back to the Fulfilled Female Entrepreneur Podcast. It's your host, Cassandra Rosa. I'm a certified coach and healer and intuitive business coach. And the mission behind this podcast is to help you to create a fulfilling life and business. Today, I'm really excited to have Kristen Jones on the podcast, and she's going to talk about standing into your power as a healer. Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I'm so excited to have Kristen here on the podcast today. We actually just filmed an Instagram live collab that I'm going to leave a link in the show notes or in this video for you to check out. It was so beautiful and soulfully aligned. We have lots in common with our missions, and I'm really excited to kind of turn the tables and be the interviewer here for this conversation. So first and foremost, thank you, Kristen, for coming. I'm so excited to have you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah, our IG live was like I'm still cheesing because I'm like, wow, I can't believe how amazing this alignment is.
I love it. This is the power of the internet. We met on Facebook in a Facebook group, and you attract the people in your life that you are meant to collaborate with, and that's definitely the case here. So I'm excited to introduce you to Kristen. She is a spiritual business coach for healers and soulpreneurs, as well as an intuitive quantum healer. She helps healers step in their power and create abundant businesses with their soul gifts that feel most aligned. And today she's going to be talking about from making a transformation from being the hidden healer to the I am healer. So she's going to uncover a little bit about what that means. And we're going to leave all the ways for you to connect with her in the show notes and the description of this video. I'm so excited for this topic. I feel like it's a common experience that a lot of healers go through of kind of being in like the spiritual closet or the healer's closet and stepping on out and really embracing themselves. So I'm really excited to unpack what that means. But before we get into that, every guest, I ask them this question: what does fulfillment mean to you?
Mm. It's interesting because sometimes like I'll answer like a question like what is fulfillment, and it'll change based off of, the space or the growth that I've had, right? And so I think fulfillment for me in this time period of my life is really like being in this space of trusting my intuition and what is aligned and following my soul paths and perfect purpose without having to know the full layout. Just know that I'm following the joy and following what lights me up, and I'm making an impact. And the impact is the impact is what I am so excited for, in that transformation that I get to support people. And so that is really what fulfillment is for me.
I love that. And this piece I really want to expand upon that you talked about, which I think is crucial that everybody should really highlight if they're taking notes, listening to this, is not having to know the process. Because I feel like so many people that are in the process of creating a business, they want to have the whole path laid out for them. Or if they do have it all laid out and they are taking the action, and the universe or whoever higher power they believe in gives them into a different direction, there's a bit of a plot twist. There's a little bit of that freak out moment. So I love how you highlighted that piece in your definition. Do you want to speak to that a little bit more?
Yeah, I feel like the thing that's coming through for me right now is we make a really big deal about the pivot and the how. The how is not important. And I literally just wrote that in my journal last weekend because I was like, okay, what does this next version of me look like? What am I stepping into? And I was like, well, how do I get there? And I immediately wrote, the how is not important. And we
Mm,
make this big deal of this pivot that society, quote society, will place on us, where it's like, we're now shifting gears and doing something different, but we're really just following our soul's purpose and our soul's path. And as long as we're trusting that and we're taking those stepping stones that feel in alignment for us, the how is not important. It will come. We just
yes,
need to follow that and trust ourselves, really trust ourselves.
that's so key and that's so crucial. Trust is everything. And I find that I've been in this big season of surrender and the importance of that in the process. When things don't go according to our plan or the way that they should have, or they could have, surrender and trust is everything. And
Yes.
I would love to hear from you about what your journey has been like, really stepping into helping all of these healers and these soulpreneurs to step into their power and their sovereignty.
Yeah. Well, it was funny because I didn't know that I was going to land here. I didn't know that this was my path. I actually, after my spiritual awakening, I've been an online entrepreneur for many, many years, but after my spiritual awakening, I really kind of sat back and I was like, okay, what is it that I want to do? Like how I'm working and what I'm doing isn't making, like, it's not serving me, and it's also not making the impact that I know that I'm here to make.
Mhm.
And so I just went into that surrender period and I started doing, experiencing things like Reiki and Oracle card readings, hiring healers, and getting certified in like NLP and all of those things as we do when we go through our awakenings. And I started doing spiritual life coaching and for women with stress, anxiety, and overwhelm. So I didn't realize at the time I was actually already helping healers. And
Mm.
I had an Akashic Records reading shortly, I want to say about a year or so after I started my spiritual life coaching business and doing energetic work and oracle card readings and all of that fun stuff. And she was like, "You're the healer's healer." And I was like, "What? I don't know what that means." And that feels like a really big load to carry. Like, how do I even, like, what does that mean? And she's like, "I don't know. You're just going to have to sit with it." So I like reflected back and I started realizing that all the women that I had been helping were talking of, there were just all of these whispers of hey me too when I started to share my interest in Reiki and energetic work and connecting with my spirit guides and angels and meditation and all of these different things, that these women were actually hidden healers.
Hmm.
And as I was working with them and removing all of these layers that they just weren't serving them, what was happening was they were stepping into their power, not just as women, but as healers, and understanding what their abilities were, and also understanding, that maybe these things that were weighing them down were actually, the things that were causing them to not be in alignment with their life's true path or purpose or whatever that looked like at the time. So it was a really fascinating realization. I was like, what does that even look like? And so that's when, I just started to play with over the next year and a half to where I am now, of what that looks like and how I can support these women and actually be able to say, like, this is what I do. And I know that you're scared and I know that you're hiding and I know that it feels uncomfortable, but it's actually safe, and let's help you and peel back these layers, like strip it away so you can step into your power.
Wow, that's so powerful that it all came from an Akashic
Right?
records
Like,
reading. Yeah,
wow.
I love that. I love how your soul led you there. And for the people that haven't come across you yet and they're just hearing you for the first time here on this podcast, can you describe what it means to be a hidden healer and why you find that so many healers are concealing themselves or hiding this part of themselves?
Yeah. So the hidden healer is someone who is, well, you mentioned like hiding in that, I call it the broom closet, but yeah, that hidden, like that healer closet or the spiritual closet where, they are oftentimes, I oftentimes see that they are struggling with stress, anxiety, and overwhelm. Maybe they're carrying trauma and depression. But on the other side of that, these are the healers that are like, I have these gifts and abilities. I know without a shadow of a doubt. Maybe they are, psychics or mediums, or they're interested and they are tarot readers and they're certified in Reiki, or they already do their own soul's work energy healing. And they're feeling so afraid to step out for fear of judgment, for fear of being, it's almost like that it is that witch wound of like being afraid of being pushed out of the tribe and being judged and reprimanded for what they like, their gifts and abilities.
Yeah, totally. I can relate to that 100%. And I just love the alignment. The actual last episode that I recorded, the solo episode before this one, was about like intuitive tools in business and my journey of having like a big spiritual awakening moment and incorporating my intuition to business. So listeners, check that out too. So it's not too repetitive, but I love like the alignment and the sequence of it. But long story short, with me, like I almost felt like, okay, well, I can't be intuitive and in business. And this was like 2019. And what I love now is more people are stepping into it because
Yes.
it's becoming more common now, because pre pandemic and everything,
Mhm.
it wasn't that. It was
Oh,
very, you know, like masculine way of doing business. And I think that that was a gift from what had happened. I know we had spoke to that
yeah.
IG live, which is great. And I know that you help people like break through that and become like an I am healer. Is that what you refer it
Mhm.
as?
Yeah, like a here I
Here I
am,
am.
like
Yes,
in
here I
my
am.
power. Yeah.
Yeah. So can you speak to that, what that means to be in their power as a healer and kind of stepping out and putting their hand, I'm getting this,
Yes.
like putting your hands on your hips, like I'm here to
Yes.
heal, I'm here to impact people. This is me. Kind of like what's coming almost to mind is, you know, the movie The Greatest Showman. Did you ever watch that one?
Mhm. I haven't seen it, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like this is me, this is who I am, and this is what I'm
Yes.
meant to do. You have to watch that movie. I think you'll love it.
Yes. I know
Anyway,
now we have done a movie swap because in the
yes.
IG Live, I was like, the Croods.
Yeah, totally.
Um,
Totally.
that's a great question. And I feel like it is that rising phoenix energy. And that's my signature program to help healers go from hidden to here I am. It's that no longer feeling afraid, or sometimes we're high vibrating souls having a human experience. Sometimes we're scared. That's our brains are just wired to keep us safe, and that's okay. And so it's like feeling the fear and doing it anyway. But I feel like we get to this point where we're not scared. We
Mhm.
just do the things and we share the things, and it's like, take me as I am. It's that take me as I am energy. No longer afraid to show up unapologetically in your truth, in your power, saying what you want to say and not watering it down, showing your gifts and abilities and not watering those down and not backing down. And it's not like, we're shouting from the rooftops, like, I am this, that, and the other thing. It's like, if it comes up in conversation, be like, yeah, this is what I do.
Totally.
Right. And just own it.
I love it. Owning it is so key and so crucial. And then you'll find that more people will be asking you about it. That's what
Yes.
it's been like in my experience. So if there's someone that's listening right now, they're like, I'm a healer. I haven't stepped out and said, here I am. What are some key things that they can do that are practical while they get off this podcast or this video today to help them to make that shift into the hidden healer and to here I am?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think the first thing, and this comes up all the time, even in the Rising Phoenix, I'm like, it starts with awareness. 100% always starts with awareness, because once you understand that you do have these gifts and abilities, or that you are wanting to come out of the that spiritual closet, so to speak, and you want to share all of this with the world, it's understanding and stepping into awareness of, what are the fears, why am I afraid of that? And then just asking yourself, and that leads to the next one, just asking yourself really good questions of, why am I afraid of showing my gifts and abilities?
Mm,
Where did this come from? And oftentimes it does come from inner child healing, which I know is not everybody's favorite, but a lot of deep healing comes from that inner child, you know, mothering and your inner child, and liberating her as well, or
mm,
him. And so yeah, where did it come from? Oh, and choosing a new story. And
mm,
the other thing I would say is, just start breadcrumbing. Like,
mm.
it doesn't have to be like a full out in the world, here I am, but just start getting a little uncomfortable and sharing just little nuggets, and pay attention to the proof. Watch the proof stack up for you as to how it is actually safe, how you are actually okay to share your gifts and abilities. And I would say on the other side, it's like hiring healers and coaches and support to be able to help you, in those areas, whatever that is for you, in those areas, to be able to liberate yourself as well.
I love that. Lots of practical tools there. And there was one that I would love for you to expand upon about this whole concept of writing a new story, like creating a new story for ourselves, because I
Yeah.
find that people can get stuck in the past, the old ones, the old ways of being. So in this whole concept of creating a new story, do you want to speak to what that means and how people can make that shift?
Yeah. So you're right. We do get oftentimes stuck in the past, and that stuckness energy, and that's okay because again, it's our brain reminding us, right? It's just going on alert, and that's totally fine. And so it's like, okay, if my new reality was I am stepping into owning who I am as a healer, as a soulpreneur, as a light worker, whatever that is, what does that look like?
Hmm.
What does that, if I were already that version of me in my power, what
Mhm.
does he or she, I'll just say she for,
Mhm.
for the ease, but what does she look like? What does she feel like? Like what the feeling is the most important in my opinion, because that's where we can really embody it now.
Mhm.
What are the decisions that she is making? Even like how is she moving her body? How is she running her business? Or how is she having conversations? And really just coming in, like once you get clear on those, like just coming into the embodiment. And whenever that fear does creep in, coming back to that energy of this is my reality now, like feeling the feelings as if, and coming back to that embodiment piece. It's going to feel like work in the beginning. It's going to be like, okay, I got to shift again. I got to shift again. Is this even working? Yes, it's working. You are rewiring your brain. And so it will become your reality as you allow yourself the opportunity to love yourself through this process and step into that new reality now.
I love that. I love that embodiment is totally key.
Yes. Yes.
So if people are listening and they're like, oh, I feel this magnetic pull for us to work together and for Kristen to be part of my journey, where can they connect with you to learn about your programs and all that you're doing for the world in this moment in time?
So I'm most active on Instagram at XO_Kristen Jones, which will be in the show notes because my name is spelled different. And that's where I'm most, like I said, that's where I'm most active. My website is ansherises.com. I've got some blog posts, but check out the free resources, slide into my DMs, let me know what your favorite takeaway is, ask questions. I love to connect.
Amazing. We're going to leave links to all that she just mentioned in the show notes and the description of this video. Any final words before we wrap up today?
Um, I had a really great time. Thank you so much for having me on. And I feel that, it just starts with the simple shift in awareness, noticing, paying attention, and allowing yourself the opportunity to choose a new story to liberate yourself. And it is possible. And I promise you, it's safe. We're here to catch you.
Amazing. Thank you so much. That was
Yeah.
amazing.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you'll be notified every time I'll upload a new video on Thursday. See you in the next one. Bye.